Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo.
Malamala. Mo bojú ayé o ayé ṣamalamala. Mo máa bójú ọ̀run òkùnkùn ló ṣubúlẹ̀. Mo máa bójú ọ̀run òkùnkùn ló ṣubúlẹ̀. Mo ní ẹ̀ẹ́rẹ́ yìí o. Kí ni dé sí Yorùbá o ọmọ aráyé? Kí ni ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Yorùbá o ọmọ Oòduà o? Yeyeyeyeyeyeye àwa máa ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ là ń bẹ. Yorùbá ń ṣera wọn nítorí owó. Yorùbá ń jìra wọn lẹ́sẹ̀ nítorí ipò. Wọ́n gbẹ̀mí fáláre, wọ́n gbáre pẹ́lẹ́bí, wọ́n kò lè kó wájà, wọ́n tún kó lóko wá mú. Ọgbọ́n tí wọ́n gbọ́n ló gbé wọn délé ọlá. Ọgbọ́n náà ló tún padà wá sí lé wọn mọ́lẹ̀ o. Àwọn tí wọ́n ti ń ṣọ̀gá lọ́jọ́ tó ti pẹ́ tún padà wá dẹni à ń fọwọ́ ti sẹ́yìn o. Yóò Yorùbá yoyoyo bí iná alẹ́. Yorùbá rúrúrú bí omi òkun. Yorùbá bàbá ni bàbá ń ṣe. Yóò Yorùbá ronú o. Yorùbá sọra wọn di bọ́ọ̀lù fáráyé gbá. Wọ́n bá gbá wọn sókè wọ́n tún gbá wọn sísàlẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yà tí ó ti kéré tẹ́lẹ̀ ni wọ́n gé kúrú. Àwọn tí àìfẹ́ lọ́tún ti dẹni àtijọ́ Yorùbá jókòó sílẹ̀ rẹ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ wọn fọwọ́ lọ́wọ́. Bí àgùntàn tí abọ́ rẹ̀ ń gbòrìṣà ilẹ̀ o. Yóò Yorùbá ronú o. Oríkì màí burú títí kó bógún ọdún lẹ́yìn òkùnkùn bèrèbèrè ìmọ́lẹ̀ yàtọ̀ o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká pọ̀ Olódùmarè ká pọ̀ Balùwàyé káyé wa lè dùn ní ìgbẹ̀yìn ìgbẹ̀yìn lálàyò ilẹ̀ mọ́ pé ìyá o. Ilẹ̀ dákun gbà wá o ilẹ̀ o. Ilẹ̀ ọ̀gẹ́rẹ́ àfọkọ́yẹrí. Ilẹ̀ alákòókà ó tẹ́rẹ̀ẹ́rẹ́ kábì. Ilẹ̀ ọ̀gbaragada bí ẹni yèyé mi ọmọ darúpalẹ̀ àdúgbò. Ilẹ̀ dákun gbà wá o. Òjìbì tí ka ìkàlẹ́nu mọ́. Àtẹ ìka ọkọ tí a pèlè. Ọgbàmùgbàmù ojú Olódùmarè ò máa ṣe gbàmù lọ́wọ́ ayé. Àwa kórì ilẹ̀ yìí fẹ́ o. Ẹni bá dalẹ̀ abalẹ̀ lọ ò kéré gẹ́gẹ́ o.
bá wa tún lè yí ṣe òtún.
Owó tọmọ o àwa gorí ilẹ̀ yìí pẹ́ o.
Odùduwà dá wa láre o.
Ká sì máa rere jẹ́ o àwa gorí ilẹ̀ yìí pẹ́ o.
Ẹni bá dalẹ̀ abalẹ̀ lọ o.
Gbèrègèdè o àwa gorí ilẹ̀ yìí pẹ́ o.
Hello there. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Maiyegun live, and I'm also live on Facebook. So if you are watching me on Facebook, it's a pleasure having you today. Yes. Share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite those who are not really your friends too. Tag everyone that needs to be here. Tell them that Maiyegun is live. Because I've got a few things I want to share with you as usual. And if you have a longer time, yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy. And then enjoy this. APC did you so much dirty that it requires us to constantly remind everyone of this debt, this kind of dirty where APC did Nigerians, that it has become so, so normal now to normalize all abnormalities. Where your president cannot find any facility, any medical facility in the country of 200 million people, that 200 million people have to contribute money and send him abroad to go and get treated. And you still find some people who said, well, if not Yunko, if it's Yunko, that is Nigeria. That is what APC, that's what they have done to you. You can live in a country of 200 million people that cannot boast of 10,000 megawatts of electricity, and they will still tell you, and so, I mean, electricity has improved in my own area. Before, we don't even get it at all. Now we are enjoying about 4 hours every 2 days, normalizing abnormalities. Criminals in government continue to milk on this, but they continue to forget as well that whatever you left undone, one day the consequences of that abandonment or that neglect will be too monumental to take care of for that long. I mean, it will be too monumental. And what do I mean by that? Criminals in Nigeria continue to budget billions in the name of fighting terrorism. They have abandoned education. They have abandoned their real true infrastructural development. They have resorted into handing their country to China, handing their country to every country that is available, that is ready to offer money. Come and help us build our drainages. Come and help us build our rail line. Please come and help us do this and borrow us money, not just come and help us build. Borrow us money to build this. They ran the country aground. And for 6 years, the result of that is that Nigeria is now the poverty capital of the world. Do you really need anybody to break that down for you before you understand the effect of the misrule, misgovernance, mismanagement, incompetence of the criminals in charge of Nigeria, led by a lifeless breeding mannequin, supported by a fake pastor, Ruga Ikene Shatabandu, people who told you that it will be better, but they forgot that leaving it undone has its own consequences. The consequences of misrule, bad leadership, is this disunity and outright call for breakup. Don't you ever think about that? Like, there will be consequences for mismanagement of a country. The insecurity that they continue to budget trillions. That's what they've spent, trillions of naira to combat terrorism. Right before your eyes, we told you it was a complete disaster, a total misjudgment for any reasonable government in any part of the world to sit together and agree to ferry cash, foreign currencies to terrorists in the name of buying peace. You can't buy peace. You will earn peace. You can't buy unity. You have to earn and build unity. Before you can find unity, you need trust. In Nigeria of today, trust is totally gone. There will be consequences, of course. Maybe you never thought about that, and you can't even pray your way out of it. That's another thing. For those who have tried to use religion to deceive you, to normalize abnormalities, it was a wrong thing for any country to ferry money to terrorists. What you are doing is that you are funding their business. That's it. And terrorists have no other business other than what? To terrorize. And when you give them to, it's like like adding fuel into a fire. The Buhari's government did it, and they were not ashamed of it. After all, they are not ashamed of it. They are so proud of what they are doing because they have people who kind of believe that the end result will just be like, the paradise they have told them. But I am telling you that there will be consequences when you manage to, ignore the truth and follow the fiction, which will come back and burn you. And that is what Nigeria is suffering from today. Let's start with Buhari. And before I even go to Buhari, who is on his 12th medical trip to the UK in 6 years. 6 years. President of Nigeria for 6 solid years. Couldn't build himself. At least be selfish enough to be selfish enough to hide your greed and selfishness. Also, Rock Clinic only exists in name. Do you get that now? None of them uses it. So they still have to budget, take money from you, and book appointment with foreign doctors, fly down to those countries, pay in their own currencies the money they stole from you, and return back to that country to come and tell you how much they are doing or how much they have done to improve health sector that cannot take care of the president of the country, not even his wife. His wife has been living in Dubai for the past 5 months. First Lady of Nigeria, now First Lady of Dubai. But to some of them in Nigeria, what is wrong in that? What is wrong? Is there anything wrong in that? If na you really? So let's start with him. 6 solid years. And this were the guys who, you remember this fake pastor that is now motivational speaker under Buhari. I will keep playing this. Let me see, where did I leave that on earlier? That fake pastor Ruga, that the one that is also suffering from Parkinson and about to have dementia, early stage of dementia, the one they are trying to sell to you for 2023. You remember this guy?
We work with you to build a Nigeria that is not corrupt. I bring you a message of hope.
We are going to spend a lot of resources on education.
Those are the characters. There is even one. This one even was like, he was a governor, a lawyer, a supposed lawyer. He was a governor. And he had this beautiful idea on how to generate electricity in Nigeria. 6 years after they took over that power, national grid of Nigeria collapsed 3 times. But they are still role models to some of you watching me right now. They are still your role models. They are still the people who have the solution to what the state they have brought Nigeria to now. 6 years ago, at least some of you were still able to manage and afford to speak up and fight what you thought was wrong with Nigeria. 2015, Abi. Today, hunger that is now living and working among all of you. Some of you, well, what am I even saying? Why am I saying some? Many of you who are now living through the Nigeria of Buhari, Nigeria they told you they were going to give to you, from change to next devil to maybe upper devil and then any other thing they are planning for you. They had all the solutions. And today, after all the failure, the killings, the massacring, all of this, which I'm going to come into later as well. They had all the solution. No? You were supposed to be enjoying 10 times 4 times. You should be enjoying about 60,000 megawatts of electricity if you follow this genius who knew what to do. And he later became Minister of Power, only for him to turn the ministry to Ministry of Darkness. And he himself became Minister of Darkness. Listen to this.
But I will try to be simple. Power generation is not rocket science. It's just generator. So just remember and imagine that your I better pass my neighbor in 1 million times its capacity, but in one place. So if you can make that size of 1 kilowatt, you can make a power turbine of 1,000 megawatts. That's as simple.
Very simple. It's as simple as that. People who are the solution. But today, they are now motivational speakers, pure propagandists, opportunists that are still presenting themselves as your solution. So they make you normalize abnormalities. They know that if there is no real constitution in that country, where everyone agrees to be part of that country on the written terms, signed by everyone, there will never be any united country. You can't force unity on people, even if your own idea of unity is just to say it. One Nigeria, we are united. But they did so much dirty on Nigerians that those who used to be able to come out and talk, today, is either they have run away to exile or they have become deaf and dumb, even blind, because they don't want to end up in Bokuwari's jail. Governors who used to be bold enough to speak and talk, at least for their people, even though if all those were political, today, every day the number is what? Is becoming scantier and scantier and scantier, whereby if you find any governor who is speaking up right now, it's just like a lone voice. Autumn is there. You know what they are doing to him. It's like they have done so much on the people, which is obvious, right? And including some of you watching me, and I'll probably try my best to break it down, what they have done to you, just to remind you, so to say. So they have done this so much that they are now feeling pretty much unstoppable, which is quite going to be a tall dream for them. They said they're going to be in charge for 32 years. Let's see how that lasts. APC, Egbekegbe, said they were going to create 3 million jobs for many, many of you. Some of you, 6 years ago, you were planning to gain admission into the university. Some of you just gained admission. You were looking forward to that glorious Nigeria, a glorious one that all you needed was just to concentrate on your education. There will be no more lecturers harassing you, sexually harassing you, or assaulting you, or blocking, as they always do, blocking your academic success just as a punishment. You had all this dream of this beautiful Nigeria. Then once you graduate, you are going to start having a job. That was what they told you, right? You're still going to have a job, and then you can work wherever you want. Some of you wants to have scholarship abroad. You will go abroad and have your scholarship. Before you even finish working, there will be jobs waiting for you, because they will do everything to stop corruption. They will cut down budgeting and paying too much money to politicians. They will do all of that, blah, 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 nonsense. 6 years after that, those of you who even had jobs in 2015, many of you have now joined the unemployment market created by the Bokuwari APC, Egbekegbe. And as the number grows, let me give you the figure. 33% of the whole country is officially unemployed. By the way, when you put it in good record, you'll probably be getting more than 80% of the population either unemployed or underemployed. We have those in the categories of young boys and girls working as primary school teachers, private school teachers. I have those who are doing those jobs and they get paid 10,000 naira, 15,000 naira. Sometimes they don't even get paid. Those ones too consider themselves as having jobs. So that's not a job. Do you get that now? But because they have normalized it, an average Nigerian will still be grateful if he's doing something and somebody is paying him 5,000 naira. Do you get that now? He knows that the 5,000 naira will not pay his rent a month, will not feed him, will not clothe him. And if he has a family, does that make him an employed person? But he's been made to thank God. That's why they brought in the religion. He's been made to believe that God is still kind to him. Because there are people out there that don't even have anything at all. So, and every day, what they do is that they continue to conscript you, compress you, and you are adjusting. And if you look at your lives from where it all started to where it is now, and you are honest, if you are being honest to yourself, I'm talking about you taking that religion out now. Your religion is yours, it's personal. Your relationship with God is so personal. If you understand it, number one, you cannot pray for Nigeria. It is not your job. Okay? And even if you pray for Nigeria, okay, your prayer will not fix the road. Your prayer will not fix the economy. Your prayer will not fix the brain drain. Your prayer will not fix this medical tourism. Your prayer will not stop the AK-47 wielding criminals. Do you know that they also kidnap priests, the people who you presume to be closer to God? Prayers are good, okay, but they don't pay the debts. And in Nigeria is a different kettle of fish entirely. Do you get that now? A Nigerian is made to believe that God can do anything. And politicians who have failed, they will stand before the people and they will say people should believe in God rather than believe in what they promised them that they were going to do or deliver, or question them on what they promised to deliver. Politicians will stand before them as Alaji, as deacons. And the people have been so conditioned to think except God intervene. And every corner of every street you go to, there is always a speaker blasting, telling you that God is coming. God is going to come. That your prayer, God is bringing answer to it. That your request, God is bringing answer to it. And all of these things makes you feel like maybe something is going to happen. And millions of people have been conditioned that way. It is so bad that even when people are in any way rewarded based on their capacity, they still don't give themselves the credit because they have been conditioned to believe that whatever they achieve, whatever they have been able to do with their lives, either with their creativity or whatever they have done, they have been conditioned never to give credit to themselves in order to get better. This is a Nigerian thing. I don't know where you found yourself. I don't know where you belong. But if this actually speaks to you, I am not judging you. I'm not questioning your belief. I'm not challenging what you actually believe in. I'm telling you that there are limitations to that, your faithful expectations. You don't put the responsibility of government on God, okay? Because your relationship with that God is personal. But in Nigeria, they are so shameless about it. Yeah? There are people who actually forgive any criminal simply because he is an Alaji that has invested a lot in Islam. Oh, he's not what do you call it? He's not a saint, but he's done so much to the body of Christ. What is best done to the body of Christ than giving good education to children, protecting women, creating a viable, equal economy that gives jobs and gives equal opportunities to the citizens who would then be able to build a country of love, unity? What is best suits the body of Christ for a governor who promised a good education, best facilities, but he refused to do it? But he's building a big church, building big mosque, renovating different religious houses, and you said God will forgive him because you are conditioned to believe that, you normalize that, and that is the genesis of the problem. And the moment we are able to continue to tell our people that they are doing it, so by the way, our messages are reaching out there and people are reacting to them the way they should, but maybe not enough yet. But we will not rule it out. That people are also thinking now. People are thinking, even though over the years, politicians have succeeded in weaponizing poverty. What do I mean by that? In Nigeria, every election year, you will see politicians talking about fighting poverty, fighting poverty. Babatunde Olatunji, thank you for your super sticker there. I almost missed the mention, so thank you. So what they did to Nigerians is that they have normalized poverty, then they have weaponized it. And if you look at everywhere, be it Yoruba Lando, be it Hausa Lando, or in every part of Nigeria, look at it very well. You will realize how politicians have succeeded in using religion through these priests and all of them, right? Number one, in telling the people to look up to God only, not to whatever politicians, tells them. And another thing is that politicians, they will rather do something called empowerment. The empowerment of few loyalists or loyal citizens who buys their lies and help them validate those lies and keep them in power. They call it empowerment. This instrument of empowerment in Nigeria that takes responsibility away from the government. They are part of the government, too. Politicians who are part of the government, or they are godfathers of those descending to government. They will take responsibility of empowering the country. How do you empower your country other than to build infrastructures that will create opportunities and the citizens will build the country? That's how you empower the people. If you want to empower children or empower the future generation, you will invest in education. You will build good facilities then you will invest in the teachers. That means you are investing in the future. Okay? So wherever then you want to, give, what is it called again? Empower the working class. You build infrastructures that makes their works easier, and then they pay more. More people get, the more people get jobs, the richer the government will be. Then you empower the whole country. Maybe no country empowers the entire country, but generally, you can empower the whole country without segmenting it. That is what the politicians in Nigeria, that's what they did. They segmented empowerment program so that instead of the government to build schools, politicians will go there and say, oh, it is my constituency project to paint this school. And as a way of empowerment, I'm giving the job to my brother from my constituency because whatever money he made from that project, I have empowered him. So they started segmenting. Then they started something called another way of taking responsibility away from government and segmenting it and giving it to themselves to buy loyalty from the impoverished citizens. They started sharing Okada. There's nothing they don't share. They will share food. They will share clothing. They will share automobiles. They share cars. They share buses. They call it empowerment. All of these are called weaponizing poverty. You know why? When politicians suddenly, when somebody who has been praying because he's been conditioned to go and pray, you need to pray, Ado. We need to do fasting and prayer. 5 years, 10 years, he's been waiting. He's been conditioned that something is going to happen. Then boom, he supported somebody, a politician, and say, hey, come, we want to do empowerment for 500 women. We are going to give them grinding a grinding machine. That is weaponization of poverty. When you give 100 grinding machine to a community, do you want to turn all of them to pepper grinders? Is that an empowerment? Then they will give Okada to graduates. They'll say, that man is the best thing. There are so many jobless youths in this community. He just came and he gave Keke Marua, he gave Okada, he gave money, 250,000 cash, he gave people this and that. It is called weaponization of poverty. So, and since they have been doing it, sharing Okada, sharing cars, giving people cash, empowerment for women, has that stopped poverty? Because what really needed to empower the people is a working economy where looters are in jail and they are not in palaces. Since they won't do that, so they therefore control the resources of the country. They share it among themselves. What do you make of a government that is budgeting 13 trillion naira for 200 million people for the whole country? 13 trillion. In that budget, they are going to spend 70% of that money on paying off debt, paying themselves salaries, buying themselves new cars, renovating the National Assembly, and ensuring that their allowances are steadily paid. While they discuss how they are going to share the remaining 30%, who is going to get what? Which road are they going to pretend to be constructing? When they will they will go behind at the back door to go and beg China, can you borrow us another money? World Bank, can you borrow us another money? You get what I'm talking about? So as they continue to do that, meanwhile, look at this. Let me give you another example. Nigeria is a poor country, very, very poor country. And let me tell you this, don't lie to yourself. Nigeria is a rich country, poorly managed. You are lying to yourself. A poorly managed country that turned over 120 million people to extreme poverty, you can no longer call that country a rich country, poorly managed. Because the product of your leadership, they are the product of your country. Which means those who are leading the country are the product of your country. So if they are the worst you've got that you can't change and nobody can change the system, then don't call yourself a rich country. Rich in what? In what exactly? Rich in poverty. So Nigeria is a poor country, right? But yet, Nigeria has a system of government that pays, that is ready, or let me say, according to Amechi, that begged Niger Republic that let us build you a train now. And Niger Republic said, we don't get money. Said, come off it. You don't need money. Do you want a train or you don't want a train? Of course, we want a train now. That's what we want to hear. And we're going to build you a train, don't worry. We don't get money too, but we'll build you one. We're going to borrow money, 1.5 billion. We're just going to construct train to Maradi in Niger Republic. Amechi came out and he said he begged them. I begged them to build them a train. That is the country. A country where they have over 15 million school-age children who are now roaming the streets because they cannot be in school, because there's no school to put them in. Teachers are not really well paid. You know what I mean? It means that even when the children find themselves in any school, poorly managed, you can imagine what the end result will be, the product of such schools. But yet they have $1.5 billion they want to borrow to construct rail to an economy that doesn't give up to $200 million a year to Nigeria. Niger Republic's total trade with Nigeria, recorded though, trade with Nigeria is just under $200 million a year. But Nigeria wants to go and borrow $1.5 billion to construct a rail line there. Well, that's not the only thing. They told you that they were going to construct one refinery every year. This is the 6th year they've been in that power. Apart from the fact that you've normalized this, in a way. Some of you are finding a way around it, arguing it around and all of that. But these same people have spent over $4 billion. Maybe you didn't hear that or you haven't read about it, but I know about it. And I'm reminding you now, telling you. These people, these criminals, the first 4 years, they've spent over $3.4 billion resuscitating, rehabilitating, rejuvenating, refurbishing, whatever other they put in the book. Over 3 billion in 4 years. In 6 years, they've spent close to it's close to $4 billion. Now they want to spend 1.5 billion bagam on Port Harcourt refinery. Now listen to this. They said oil subsidy is a scam. Scammers telling you that oil subsidy was a scam, which truly it was. It was a scam put in place by those who felt like there could be middlemen between government and marketers, make some cool cash, marketers make some money, Nigerians suffer for it. But it was a way to calm the political climate in Nigeria and say, you know what, we will only be selling for 87 naira. We are going to be paying the rest for you. Nobody cares where that comes from. But to Nigerians, well, whether true or false, scam or real, well, that's something that our government is paying on our behalf. Abi? Subsidy. Nigeria under Goodluck Jonathan, they were spending between 300 to 500 billion. When Obasanjo was there, it was Obasanjo that started it, by the way. Obasanjo's government was paying between 14 and 50 billion naira every year on subsidy. And they were selling petrol for how much? 27 naira, 35 naira, 45 naira. You remember? Do you even remember that you bought fuel for 33 naira when Obasanjo increased the fuel then? Remember? Obasanjo's government was paying between 14 and 30 billion or thereabout every year for subsidy. When Jonathan came, suddenly it just changed. Boom. From just pure patry 40, 50 billion, it just changed to 100, 200, 300. That was what Jonathan was paying, between 300 and 800 billion a year on subsidy. But before it got to 800 billion, Jonathan said he was removing it in 2012. This APC, they said, you know what I'm talking about now? Ojota protest. We have the solution. Why can't we just renovate and repair all the refineries? We can build refineries with this and that and that and that and that and that. Just like they can build power station with a better pass my neighbor generator, 1 million places. So they said they could do all of that. Of course, it's possible. Why? Everybody was like trying to tell us how it's going to work. They had the solution. Bukwari came in. The refineries, they were still pretty much working at, near dead capacities. They just went dead because everything Bukwari touches dies. Some of you may not have paid attention. Wherever Bukwari or APC touches dies. Everything they've touched died mysteriously. Okay, if I have time, maybe I'll mention one or two. Right? Then they came in. 4 years gone, boom. They were paying subsidy. I mean, within 4 years, to real long, these guys paid over 4 trillion naira on subsidy. For what now? They were hiding it. They came in, they said, hey, we can't pay subsidy again. We are removing it. We are going to be, 87 naira is no longer viable. Some of you normalized it from 87 naira to 140 naira. From 140 naira now, please, very soon, in another few weeks, you will begin to pay over 200 naira per liter. Yes, you're going to have to pay. Because they didn't build the refineries they told you they were going to build. They didn't build any. It's been 6 years. Maybe you didn't pay attention. And they spent billions of dollars that they didn't disclose to you. No refinery, no nothing. They are still importing. And they are still paying subsidy. Now, subsidy is back. They said they have to pay subsidy and they can no longer pay it for too long. How dubious do you think they can be? And how long do you think you can hold by? It's completely yours. So I am not affected directly, but I'm beginning to get affected too. There are a lot of people who need help, who need support. I know some of you are so like, you are going through a lot. There are some of you are trying to hide from the public, but I don't know how long you are going to be able to hide it. Very soon, you will begin to say it out as well. What Nigeria is doing to you, what you have lost, simply because of this APC. So the point I'm trying to make here is that it will get to a point where it's either you boldly come out to say you are tired, undeniably, or you just have to die in silence. I know some people who are saying people should come back and fight for them. That's a wrong ask. It's just like you that didn't vote for God, asking God to come and help you save Nigeria. You did not elect any God. You did not vote for any God, right? And therefore, there's no way he's going to come in and rescue you. If he can do that for you, he would have done it. Does that not tell you something? That you are desperately in need of somebody to intervene. Then when you want people to come back home to come and do it for you, are you forgetting the fact that those who are out are those who are pushed out by the same system that some of you have normalized? Maybe you don't have anywhere to go to. You've accepted it. Great. Drink to that. Enjoy it. But there are those that are believed, and they are there. You can see them every now and then, that disagrees with you. And I believe with time, they will make up the number. You normalize all the abnormalities. $1.5 billion. They don't even have the money. That's the problem. Like if you have some money now, you can begin to budget, you can begin to plan, you can begin to make all those juicy arrangements, but you don't have the money. A poor country that has over 12 private jets for the president and his family. And this private jet consume over 5 billion naira every year to maintain, to fuel. And the same country, poor country that could not. You see, when you go on social media everywhere, you will see people who need medical help, Nigerians. Some of them will even be blackmailing you. Say, well, why can't you help us? Why can't you help us? Some of you, the money you are using to spend, the money you spend at the club every weekend, this money can save so many lives. Why are you blackmailing people with their money? Because Nigeria made you feel like you shouldn't expect anything from the criminals in government. Just defend them, right? Then you can then go out there and blackmail people to part with their own money. Look at the money this one is wasting. Oh, look at the money this one is spending to buy all of these things. Why don't you just go to motherless baby home and give them this? People are hungry. There are hungry people on the street. Are the people spending their own money the enemy, or the people who made your own people hungry? Normalizing abnormalities, defending absurdities, and then blaming other people for your unfortunate decisions. It is called soul searching. You can search your soul. If I touch one nerve there or more, it's just for you to reflect, Who is that person against your destiny? Nobody. If you look very well. But who is that person who has made your life miserable if you are going through a hell right now as a Nigerian in Nigeria? Don't look too far. Don't blame anybody. Look and think about your kind of decisions when it comes to stuff like this. They guilt trip people. Why don't you use that money for that? Why don't you use it for that? And you're like, what's your business with what somebody uses his own money for? Politicians who are telling you to pray to God. who are telling you that they heard from God. And they actually have a lot of men of God who go to them and tell them a lot of things in their failure. So what's in the APC do you? They promised 3 million jobs. Today, 33% of you are now jobless. When they came in, they had about between 12 and 13 million unemployed Nigerians on record. Now you have about 34, 35 million on record. Unemployed. That's like over 22 million people have lost their jobs. 22 million people. Despite the empower, look at those they gave empower to. It is called weaponizing poverty. A professor of law, educated person who is a vice president to a megad, a retired demented megad, professor, artists, criminals. They came out, they said, we have a plan, economic plan to lift 10 million people out of poverty. They didn't know that what they were planning was to put more of you into poverty. They started sharing money, 10,000 naira trader money. Look at that. It is called weaponization of poverty. All of you that collect the money, you will believe that you owe them something. These are the money that should have been channeled into social care, to welfare care, and then health care, and so many other care to take care of you and take away that sorrow that you are going to church to go and pray over. I trade away my sorrow. I trade away my fear. I trade away my disappointment. I trade away this and that, blah, blah, blah. Come on. People are praying over things that medically you should be in the hospital, being attended to. Medically, they turn it into spiritual. You know why? Because they couldn't get the real answer from the criminals running the country. How is that difficult for any sensible person to decipher? I mean, no, to process. They turn it to spiritual. They say, let us pray to God to give us leader. Why do you need to pray to God to give you leader? When you have eyes, when you have brains, when you have ears, and you can judge for yourself, and nobody can judge, only God can judge. Who told you that? How far with that, by the way? At least you have some people that told you they heard from God. You remember Abaka? Abaka told you he heard from God. Now you've realized that nobody heard from any goddamn God when it comes to decisions you have to, to make yourself. Expecting criminals to change simply because you think God told you that they can do something. That's the most foolish thing that we have promoted for far too long. And the moment you begin to realize that, thinking God will decide for you because you have no brain is the beginning, or is the genesis of you thinking about what you have been using your brain for. Let us pray. Maiyegun, don't talk like that. We need to pray to God. Are you mad? You want to tell me about that? Pray to wish of the God that you haven't already. Have you not prayed? How many of you have even prayed for yourselves enough to tell your God to take you out of where you are? Because it's not going to do it for you. There's no God that's going to come and take you out of your shitty decisions that you don't want to be responsible for. And this is one of them. When people call out that take on the government, take on the criminals, you don't tell them to pray. You don't go all out there and, gaslight them. Gaslight them for who? For Tinubu to be president. So after becoming president, what will change in your lives? It's going to begin to, like they told us in the 90s, Abiola, there are some sheep bringing food. The moment Abiola become president, there will be food everywhere. Like, how does that even make any sense? That do people still actually believe all that nonsense in this 21st century? Oh, the reason why the moment this person become president, the entire world will just bring food from where? Are you that dumb? 2021? That wants somebody. You look at them, they ask Tinubu. Well, they didn't even ask him. He was talking about the problem in the country and he said, employ 50 million youth. Then he came back to say, oh, I didn't mean 50 million, I meant 50,000. Did you see the video? And you sit down there you are in your own 20s, 30s. And you believe a man that is in his late 70s but claiming to be in his late 60s is capable of thinking for you because you are so dumb that you think he has the solution. Then you are so smart enough to actually read through all the solutions, and you are dumb enough to believe them. Yeah. Look at them. Look at all of them. Look at where they come to. Look at everywhere. The most shameless of them all are those who live in Lagos. They have this different mentality of maybe they are living in a particular place that is so kind of different, as if to say we don't live in that Lagos as well. We don't have families in that Lagos. We didn't grow up in that Lagos as well. Like, how could they do that? How could they have done that to you successfully, like so easily, that you have so much strength in defending the barbarians, the opportunists? Then you look around yourself, the same suffering continues. Say, what do you want me to do? Me will go fight. Okay, don't fight. Why should you fight? Slaves hardly fight. Just pick what you think works for you. It's been how has the mismanagement of Lagos State been working for all of you so far? It is just the same thing. They call it a vicious circle, catch 22. How could you believe such people? How could you go out there and fight your brothers and sisters because you think these failed criminals, once they become president, once that one become they told some people that once Buhari become president, the moment Buhari become president like this, so all thieves will run away. How is that possible? You brought in a thief and you want thieves to run away. How is that even possible? They said his body language is going to fix electricity. How is that possible? How could you even believe that? And some people are now telling you again that some near demented person is also going to turn your life around. How? Give you money? Or what? What is that thing that they can do to make you gainfully employed that they can't do now? I mean, these are things you should ask if you get brain, but not everybody. You see, all of us get brain. See, when we say that starch and stone or sand, there's some people head, we're just joking. Everybody has his own brain, but it is not everyone that uses it or has. Think. There's some of you will come out and say, now because you know, like, what your baba do? Maybe your father was once a praise singer too. Did you take after your father? Because that's something we can actually look into too. That may actually be a generational problem, whereby you come from a generation that believes that the limitation placed before them by Nigeria is actually so legit that asking for more is asking for too much. So then we can actually deal with you. Was your father also a praise singer, or it was just you? Are you sure your father will be so proud of you if he knows that he gave birth to a sissy? Because I don't understand. You're a young man, a young woman. You have your whole life ahead of you, but you can't decide it. Nigeria has decided it for you already. Fine. But do you want to agree with that? Are you okay with that? It's your choice. But don't make it general that your parents were sissies, possibly, that your parents agreed with all manner of slavish policies that brought about where you are today. Shouldn't mean that you should. But it doesn't mean that they were, I'm not going to say your parents are wrong. Or I'm not going to say our parents are totally wrong. But I'm going to tell you today that they were foolishly wrong. And they were scarily, wrong. They were stupidly wrong too. They wouldn't have been if they can at least ignore their own failings and let this generation take on the generation that doesn't care about us. So if your parents raised you to be an ass licker, a praise singer, in the name of respect, like they love to put it, oh, we respect our elders. No. Your parents respected thieves, and they raised you to respect thieves. Do you get that now? So don't mix it. From where we come from, we respect elders, and respect is end. Just same way we believe that age is like an experience that you can't buy. Yeah? The more you live, the more you learn. We know that. But at the same time, from where we come from, we also know that foolish people can also grow old. That a foolish man or a foolish woman grows old doesn't make him or her a wise person. That they give birth to children that are also foolish and stupid like them doesn't make them like, it doesn't put them in that all of respect. We should always be very, very clear. We know those who collaborated with a system that subjugated them, subjugated the women, subjugated the children, subjugated the entire country, segregated us in our minds, lied to us. Now, those fault lines have been crossed. Those segregations have become open. People are now questioning those divisions. And they said, keep your mouth shut. If your parents raised you to be an ass licker in the name of respect, you can respect people like your parents. Because we do know that foolish people, selfish people, greedy people, criminals also grow old. Okay? Wherever your parents belong to. Don't ask us about what did our fathers, what did they do? We are not our fathers. We are not our mothers. And if you belong to that generation of those who continue to undermine and limit the expectations and the curiosity of this generation, we're also going to grow old someday too. You're going to pass. And we're still going to have to do what we have to do. So, in a nutshell, your life is in your own hand. Whatever you make of it. Nigeria will shape you. Nigeria will form. I mean, Nigeria will do everything to deform you. But it is all up to you. Not to be like your own parents. Not to be like your fathers. Not to be like your mothers. I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like my mother. Because they lived through the same system. I am now a father which has his own children. What does that tell you? It tells you that I don't want to leave this world. The same way I met it. The same way my own parents met it. And they couldn't do much. They lived through it and left the world for me and you now. Well, I'm here. They are no longer here. Okay? So you are still here as well. What kind of Nigeria? What kind of that city you want to live for your own? You want to leave your children in that Nigeria? And do you think they will survive it? If you think asking them to be responsible, asking your criminal government to be responsible is asking for too much, don't generalize it. Some of us believe that normalizing abnormalities will never make abnormalities normal. That's one thing you can take away from this. That you have normalized it. That you think the way they have conditioned you, the same way they conditioned your parents, the same way they conditioned their own parents, you are about to condition your own your own children into that. Please don't generalize it and don't make it a bit of a competition. It's not a competition. Some of us wants to leave this world better than we met it. And I think you should join us. If you think you can, and I hope you can. Thank you very much. If you have time later tonight, join me on Maiyegun's Diary Politico. And I've got a lot to share too, right? And I don't want to continue to believe that criminals like this will be able to keep us and hold us back. It may tarry a while. Trust me, we are catching up with them. With social media and all of this, it will just be a matter of time. Okay? I'll see you some other time. If you have the time, join me later. Oduduwa Anthem for those learning it on Maiyegun's Diary. See you later tonight.
She said
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
lórí Facebook
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
lórí YouTube
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
díjọ ìgbádìyẹ
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin òun
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
kí gómìnà kówó jẹ
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí fa
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
aṣòfin tí ń rúfin òun
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
òkúra olóṣèlú
Maiyegun máa wí.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
àní ẹ̀ súnra kì í.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì í. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo.